This video is a presentation of a utopia created by Angela Curry and Carly Guthrow. A utopia is defined as an ideally perfect place, especially in its social, political, and moral aspects. They are places where everyone has equal opportunity and is genuinely a peaceful, pleasant place. Overview of your utopia. Name and geographic location description. Our utopia will be placed in the Caroline Islands, which are located in the western Pacific Ocean just east of the Philippines. Because these islands are isolated from other people, it would be easier to design and run our own community and government without the influence of other countries. It is a fairly large landmass with different sections of the island separated partially by water. We feel this would be helpful for our utopia in the way that we could spread out our population to avoid conflicts that may arise due to many different factors such as religion. On our island, we produce a lot of natural products such as coconuts, tapioca, sugar, copra, and arrowroot, which are all beneficial. Our island has some of the most pristine tropical beaches and forests in the world, although we have no fresh water. We would deal with this by fabricating our own wells, making sure to have enough for everyone. Because there is a danger of sea levels rising and hurting our towns, we plan on building up with buildings raised and connected together. The soil is only a few centimeters thick anyways, which wouldn't be very helpful for us, so we can create our own fields to grow food in. Our land is heavily vegetated, which we will use to our advantage until sea levels rise. We also plan on becoming known for protecting the endangered green turtles which habitually rest on our beaches. Our island was believed to be created by a volcanic hotspot, though no one can really say for sure. It has been suggested that it was created over 40 million years ago, though again this could be debated. Between the 17th and 19th centuries, there were a large number of people from different countries all over the world ready to explore the island's vast territory. The first real settlement was built in 1916, and its goal was to export copra, which is the dried white flesh of coconuts from which coconut oil is extracted. Unfortunately for them, there was not nearly a large enough market for this product compared to the humongous amount of expenses they had. They went into debt, and by 1926 there were only 10 residents left on the island. By the year 1930, their efforts were all but abandoned, and every resident departed. They left the island once again to its own devices, open to whatever. A few of our philosophies include: be honest and trustworthy, be fair and just, be self-controlled, take personal responsibility, have integrity, be caring and compassionate, forgive, be a good friend, do no harm, have empathy, respect others, cooperate, be tolerant, and be willing to serve. We plan on having a communist government of sorts, minus the dictators. We believe that having everyone be equal and receive all the same benefits, such as a minimum salary of $18 an hour and the same style of house, would be influential in having a fair and perfect society. We would have one government party in power, and we would be the heads of the government. It would eliminate problems such as things like smear campaigns between competing parties and citizens disagreeing over who has the better platform. You have one option for who is in charge, but you absolutely have every right in the world to submit your opinion. We plan on having a politic based upon the idea that you are always innocent until proven guilty. You will have the right to a trial and a defense lawyer and be tried by a jury of randomly assessed island citizens. There will be a system put in place for suggestions and commentary, possibly something electronic like a website forum. There will not be too many laws put in place, and they really won't differ from our moral standards by much. Several examples of these laws would include simple things such as: it is against the law to physically harm any man, woman, or child. If you cannot prove that you were given permission, taking the property of someone else that you have no right to is prohibited. Littering will not be permitted at any time in any place. This is all comparable with one of Plato's last dialogues called Laws, in which they discuss and eventually discover how laws should reference what is good for the society rather than be referenced to war and fighting other countries. Social arrangements. After having read about Denmark's way of life, we decided on property ownership, that there would be no land ownership per se, but the government will assign you an area and everyone will be entitled to a piece with all the same dimensions and assets. You have the responsibility to care for and keep your land in decent shape, preferably well manicured and neat. Religion. Because the island is shaped with several smaller islands, we plan on using this to our advantage. There are 3 specific parts, and we have decided that each one will represent a different religion. One will be formed of Christians, one will be formed of neutrals, and the other will be basically miscellaneous. On this neutral territory, there will be an always changing panel of neutral people who will be responsible for settling any disputes that may arise between religions. Each island will be equipped with everything they need, such as schools, parks, and stores, so there is no absolute need to interact with people from other islands and religions, unless you choose to, which you absolutely have the right to do. On the topic of class, each person will be receiving the same amount of money no matter what the job, though we have deduced that basic necessity jobs such as chefs and garbage men will not be a viable job, based off of the fact that our technology will have progressed enough to have robots to do these things. Because everyone is receiving the same sum of money, it should essentially wipe out the idea of classes, which tend to be based off of wealth. Community practices and setup. We have come to the conclusion that our community isn't going to be an extremely tightly knit society, but there will be several events that the community participates together in. We plan on trying out a system of basically gathering everyone together in a sort of central area and taking in people's opinions on things that could be improved on our island and things that need to be changed. We want everyone to have the right to express their opinion depending on time and place. We feel that this would be a good outlet for these things. We also think that it would be a cool idea to host sort of a game night every week, charging only an entry fee. We as the government would supply games and snacks and such, and it would be a fantastic opportunity to get everyone together, relaxed, and enjoying themselves. Family composition and marriage customs. Families will be composed in whichever way you wish. We plan on making it possible for families to all live near each other, even in the same complex if wanted. You are free to do as you wish concerning your relationships, in the way that you may marry or choose not to. You may have as many children as you wish, as long as you are capable and willing to properly care for them all, or you may choose to have none at all. As for marriage customs, you will generally have the same freedoms. You may choose who, when, and why you marry, or you may choose to not ever get married. You will have the ability to legally marry who you want, be their gender male or female. The only exception to this law would, of course, be that it is still prohibited to marry another of your family members. We have made the decision that you may marry once you reach the age of 18. You and your fiancé must both be of this age, and parental consent is not needed. You may not marry younger than 18, no exception. In Thomas More's Utopia, he says, and I quote, "Their women are not married before 18, nor the men before 22, and if any of them run into forbidden embraces before marriage, they are severely punished, and the privilege of marriage is denied them unless they obtain a special warrant from the prince." We took this into mind and combined it with our society's views on marriage, and in the end came to our own conclusion of 18 for both men and women. Economy. All property concerning things such as land, vehicles, and homes are property of the state, and you therefore must not pay insurance, but you will be responsible for an annual fee for rent. All products and foods will of course cost money, and we have figured that taxes will be charged. Taxes will be maintained at a constant rate of only 5% and will be applicable to everyone at the same rate. As for persons on things such as disability, there will be health insurance available to pay for these afflictions, though you may not receive health insurance after already falling ill or becoming disabled. Seeing as how everyone is receiving the same amount of money and everyone is paying the same taxes, the economy should be fairly well, and there should be no reason that we should have to increase our taxes. Due to all these factors mentioned and many more, we believe that with a numerous host of willing participants and a great location, our utopia would stand a strong chance of working out. Because we believe in collaborating everyone's opinions and improving our society to the highest standards, we would do well and prosper. Thank you for listening.